Hi friends, welcome back. So Tesla stock earnings are out, and on page 13 of the earnings report, they want you to know that they are more than just vehicles. And in fact, at the top of their chart here, they put humanoid robots and essentially telling you this is the future, bro. It's hard to say this stuff with a straight face, honestly, because a lot of this stuff is really just pipe dreams. Essentially what it is they're saying, hey, we got all this big plans for the company. Please invest in us. And again, humanoid robots are at the top. Other stuff they have on their list, and this is what's moving the stock. Ride hailing, insurance, service and collision, battery cells, lithium refining, energy storage, solar, charging vehicles, FSD, parentheses, supervised, AI compute, and auto bidder. So the bulls will be eating up this chart, and this honestly is what moving the stock. It's not numbers. And that's the subject of today's video. Despite Tesla reporting massive earnings decline, smoke and mirrors can still move the stock. So for real. Welcome back, everyone. And I can't stop laughing when I cover this thing because it is so ludicrous. But this is honest, guys. Tesla stock appears to move like crypto or meme stocks. It's completely sort of disconnected from reality. Don't worry about the numbers. Just focus on the future. And this is real. On page 13, they're putting robots at the top of their chart. The stock is up in the after hours. My opinion on this, I think Kathy Wood must be buying this thing. You can actually move stocks up and down in after hours because the volume is much lower. The markets aren't open, so you can do whatever you want in the after hours, and it's different. And so then you get this thing here. It says tech giants roar as Tesla spikes in late hours. And then I guess there's a report that Kathy Wood is still buying this dang thing. But if you actually read the headlines, look at the numbers, it looks pretty bad. Look at this. Tesla reports sharp drop in first quarter earnings. Tesla revenue declines in first quarter as vehicle sales slow. And this is actually a good representation of sort of what's going on here. So it's true. It's true that you had revenue increases and revenue gains, right? Year over year, you were moving up, quarter over quarter, etc. But lately, your revenues are actually in decline. You're not growing anymore. And so this is sort of what's funny is like, okay, so if you're not growing anymore, how are you moving the stock? It's by promising you more stuff in the future. And essentially, that's been the Tesla story is, don't necessarily look at our numbers now. Think about how awesome the future is going to be. So I guess they're saying they're going to, this is the word that they use, accelerate the launch of cheaper cars, right? Whatever that means. And honestly, because you guys are like, well, what does that mean? It's like, so now we have to hang on every single word that Elon Musk says and whatever Elon Musk tweets out. It's frankly crazy. Here's another headline from CNBC. Tesla reports biggest revenue slide since 2012, announces renewed push for affordable model. In the earnings call, which is going on now, and if there's anything crazy that Elon Musk talks about, we'll talk about that in a separate video. But this is the bingo card that Bloomberg put out. It's pretty funny. So will he be talking about robotaxis or mega packs, Grok? What about demand, Cybertruck? What about advertising, geofencing, profound? I guess he says profound. India, remember he counts the trip with India, etc. So you can look through this thing and pause the video, but it's just pretty funny. When you actually look at the numbers, though, it does look pretty bad. And the sad thing about it is, and this is just real, I think the average retail investor isn't probably going to look at these numbers. They're just going to be like, hey, look at the price of stock. It's going up. It's awesome. But that's how you get burnt. And I understand that you can make money trading this thing. I say that all the time. The same way that you do, cryptos or your other meme stocks, you can make money in these things, but have to know that it's a trade and you're disconnected from reality. Because if you look at like just their numbers, their automotive revenues are down 13%. What is this? Their gross profit is down 18%. Their earnings per share. So this is down 53% with GAAP, down 47% non-GAAP. Their income from operations down 56%. I mean, everything is down. It's crazy. Total revenue is down 9%. The things that are moving the positive direction, just to be fair, I'm looking at all the numbers here. Their energy generation and storage revenue climbed 7%, right? But it's dwarfed by their automotive revenues, meaning that it's a car company. They make most of their money from selling cars, and that revenue is going down, and their profits are going down. It's all here in the numbers. Everything's going down, and yet the stock is moving up. And again, the reason is because Tesla's promised you robots and affordable cars, and we're going to do ride hailing and all kinds of crazy stuff. The other thing that's really interesting too, and I want to point this out really clearly. I see it every day, every time I make a Tesla video, that someone makes the same claim that, oh yes, but the Model Y is so awesome. They sell the most in the world. Here's the thing, guys. we actually don't know. We actually don't know how many cars they sell because they don't tell you. What they do is they combine the production and the deliveries of the 3 and the Y together. They put the numbers of the 3 and the Y together, and they don't separate out, so we don't actually know how many they're delivering. But what we do know is that our deliveries are down 10% from last year. You can just see it right here. Total deliveries down 9% when you combine the other cars. We also had numbers reported from the Tesla Cybertruck and the recall. That they only made about 4,000 of these things because they recalled all of them. I think that the exact number is like 3,800 something. And the reason why I mentioned smoke and mirrors of this stuff is, okay, we have a hard number that they had to report to the government of like how many Cybertrucks are going to recall, and it was like 4,000 basically. And when you look at their earnings report here, and this is what the bulls are going to say, they're like, guys, Cybertruck is awesome. Tesla is awesome because look, Tesla's telling me that they can build 125,000 Cybertrucks. That's what Tesla's telling you they can do, but their actual vehicles that they put out and they actually delivered is like 4,000. So there's clearly a disconnect between what Tesla tells you in their earnings report and then what actually is the reality. And that's sort of that's why it's hard to keep a straight face with this stuff, because it's true, guys. I mean, as long as you can keep the story going, I guess. If you get enough people to believe in the story, it essentially just becomes an MLM or a Ponzi scheme at this point. Just keep getting new money in, and they really did put robots at the top of the chart. So I'm showing you this thing again. It's funny because whenever I talk about this stuff, I know there's young 20-year-old kids that are on skateboards, like video games, and they like robots, and I like robots too. I do, but I also like hard numbers. I want to see those robots making sales, right? And until I see, Tesla like selling, 2 billion robots a year or whatever, I'm just, making up some crazy numbers, then I'll believe it. But at the moment, they're not really mass producing things or making these things. It's just a pipe dream at this point. And it's the same with the $25,000 car or whatever. It's also a pipe dream right now. Now, according to Tesla, they're going to promise these things are going to come out early 2025 maybe, or at least they're going to maybe present a prototype by 2025. Who knows? I mean, that's what they say. And again, it's just all these empty promises. There's no other way to put it. And I know the bulls are going to say, guys, you should be really excited. There's something coming in the future. But it's like, how much can you tell someone that? The truth is, you can move the stock with this kind of stuff. I mean, that's what's going on here. Because I was like, okay, the stock is moving up in the after hours. And it's like, what is, I mean, it is. I can see it. It's like, what is going on? And I'm just thinking, okay, is ARK buying? Is that what's going on? Because I don't see in the numbers, I don't see any compelling reason to why like this thing would be awesome. It's just not there in the numbers. It's all based on, we're going to introduce a new car. So here's their language. It says, we have updated our future vehicle lineup to accelerate the launch of new models ahead of our previously communicated start of production in the second half of 2025. And it says, what exactly are these models? And that was the question that the reporter had. We'll be listening for calls on the call, like listening for clues on the call, like what? Okay. And then here's another thing that they say. This is coming from Tesla. Our purpose-built robotaxi product will continue to pursue a revolutionary unboxed manufacturing strategy. It's like what does this stuff mean? and I'm laughing because it's like, okay, so now we're in 2024, so next year sometime expect some great announcement about their affordable vehicle. And then they announce something, and then it'll be another 2 years before the thing actually even hits the market. Like how long can you drive this thing on smoke and mirrors? That's all it is. It's so bizarre to me. This is your chart of your income, right? So it was climbing. Now you've been in decline. This particular quarter here, just want to point this out. This was an accounting issue. Basically, they had if I understand it correctly, it was like a deferred accounting thing that they didn't do until that particular quarter. So that's why that's when kind of a weird anomaly. And if you look at their earnings report, you can compare the GAAP and the non-GAAP, and you'll see and that's the accounting method, and you'll see where it can be more normalized if you take a look at non-GAAP. So I just wanted to mention that, guys, that I do see and I can read, but I'm just trying to point out to you that this is all smoke and mirrors. This again taken directly from the earnings report. They put this in. They say, look at this. This is the Model 3, $299 a month, but after you factor in the gas savings, it only costs $160 a month, and like. That kind of stuff is always shady to me. This is a rendering of, I guess they're going to have some sort of ride-hailing app. Who knows? This is a rendering, and they even put in subtitles. Demonstrative only. Actual looking features subject to change. who knows? Like, who knows what this thing's going to be? Because it's really funny when they show you a picture of their dojo thing. They're like, hey guys, this is not a render. The reason why it's funny is because most of the stuff in their earning report is like smoke and mirrors and like, you know, kind of like just drawings of crap. And then when they finally show you something real, they're like, hey, it's for real. Like, we're not kidding. And it's funny too, in their earnings report, they always like to talk about, hey guys, you know, look at FSG is driving up yet more miles, right? We're getting more miles this thing. But this is always a good thing to report because it can always go up. It's never going to go down, right? The amount of miles that people, you know, use their FSD on, it'll never go down because it just accumulates. It's like saying, you know, this is how I age. like I'm not getting younger. I'm only going to get older. It's the same, and I am getting older. But we are getting older. It's the same as the FSD driving thing. It'll never go negative. Now, it could flatline, but it will never go negative because it can't, right? That's the way math works. The other thing, too, I want to mention as well, I thought was interesting. This is a quote from them. It says, from Tesla, it says, it is interesting that Tesla claims it's going to use, quote, aspects of the next generation platform as well as aspects of our current platform. Okay. And it's like this kind of vague language is all about Tesla. So when you're, you know, going to make this new vehicle, what's going to be new? What's going to be old? That's the question you'll ask Elon Musk, and he'll just say, you know, here at Tesla, we're all about innovation. And we'll be like, okay, what does that mean? And then the fanboys and fangirls are like, oh, innovation, oh, buy the stock. And guys, like I said, you can make money on a meme stock, you can make money on crypto, but just understand that's what you're in. We're not talking about numbers anymore. And I encourage you guys to look at the numbers for yourself. I'll show it to you again. Everything's in decline. So, you know, like what are we talking? Here's all the decline numbers here. It's like what are we talking about here? I don't know how long this trade can go. I don't have any predictions on that. I mean, I think the 8.8 thing with the robotaxi announcement thing, whatever that's gonna be, who knows? It'll be more smoke and mirrors. They'll bring out something, they'll wheel it out, and then they'll say, hey, coming soon or something like that, and then we won't hear about it for the next couple of years. And then for the next couple of years, at least we'll have something to talk about on YouTube with like how long can this bubble last. The thing that I find really fascinating about this whole thing as well is that if you close your eyes and just believe everything Elon Musk says, and I guess everything's exciting and happy and these kind of things, right? And then you say, hey, we got to give him his $56 billion, payment. But the craziest thing about that is that compensation thing is going to come out of your pocketbook. If you're an investor in this thing, it's going to dilute your shares. Your shares are going to be worth less. And so if you want to pay Elon Musk, 10 to 50% on your stock, by all means, vote whatever you want to do. But I'm just keeping it real with you guys. The other issue as well is it's funny because the pumpers will say, well, people don't realize that Tesla is an AI company. It's a robot company. Don't look at the numbers on cars. And it makes sense if the numbers in decline. You don't want people to actually look at the real numbers. So that's why I tell you guys, I feel like this whole thing is just smoke and mirrors. So anyway, that's my thoughts on it. If Elon Musk says anything crazy in the earnings call, I'll report that to you. But it's smoke and mirrors, guys. It's smoke and mirrors. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you next video.